Sometimes in life we go through events and moments when we realize this cannot just be a coincidence. At exactly the right time, the right person appears in front of us, or something we've been thinking about for a long time suddenly shows up, as if placed before us by the universe. This mysterious phenomenon is exactly what Carl Gustav Jung called synchronicity. So, what is synchronicity? According to Jung, it is when events that seem independent are actually meaningfully connected. In other words, behind encounters that look like coincidences, there is a hidden language of our unconscious and the universe. And I want to show you this with some examples. Examples of synchronicity. Imagine this. You think of someone you haven't seen for a long time, and just a few hours later, you unexpectedly run into them. Or when you're really stuck, a new opportunity suddenly brings that person right in front of you. These moments are the universe's way of saying, you're on the right path. Jung said these events are not random, because our unconscious speaks in symbols and meanings, and the events we experience in the outer world are reflections of our inner world. Have you ever noticed how some songs start playing at just the right moment? You're driving, your mind is confused, you don't know which step to take, and suddenly a lyric from a song feels like it's directly answering your question. Or you randomly read a line in a book or article that seems as if it was written just for you. These are not accidents. These are synchronicities, reflection of the inner world. Maybe you've noticed, the more angry, tense, or restless you are, the more you encounter people and situations carrying the same energy. Likewise, the more peaceful and open you are inside, the more supportive experiences you attract. That's why Jung said, everything you encounter is a reflection of what you carry within. So, synchronicity not only reveals the mystery of the universe, but also illuminates our own unconscious. Think about it. When you change your inner dialogue, doesn't the outer world also change? When you start the day with gratitude, small blessings begin to appear everywhere. But when you start with negativity, problems seem to multiply. The outer world mirrors your inner vibration. The unconscious and the collective field. Jung also spoke of the collective unconscious in addition to the personal unconscious. That means there is a shared mental field that we are all part of. This field carries the deep memory of our ancestors, societies, and humanity itself. And when we connect with this collective field, synchronicity emerges even more powerfully. That's why people on opposite sides of the world can have the same dream. Why inventions can appear in different countries during the same period. We are connected by much more than we can see. And synchronicity is a window into that invisible bond. How do we notice synchronicity? In fact, these signs are always present in our lives, but most of the time, distractions and the rush of daily life make us ignore them. When you see a sign, instead of dismissing it as just a coincidence, you can ask yourself, what is this trying to tell me? Because according to Jung, the language of the universe is never random. It constantly guides you through symbols and synchronicities. Sometimes this is a very subtle sign, like a repeating number on a clock. Sometimes it is loud and undeniable, like meeting someone who holds the exact key you need at that moment. The more you pay attention, the clearer the signs become. Application in daily life. For example, Let's say you've been struggling to make a decision for a long time. At that very moment, a word, a book, or an unexpected person can bring you the answer. Or you share something that's on your mind, and right at that moment, someone else brings up the same subject. When you start noticing these signs, you begin to feel that life is not flowing randomly. Everything is part of a whole, and within that whole, you are not alone. And here I want to share with you a message from Jung. Jung said, "Synchronicity is a reminder that life flows within an invisible order. When you notice this order, you stop fighting against life and start flowing with it. And that's where true transformation begins." Imagine how liberating it is to trust this flow. Instead of worrying about every detail, you begin to see life as a dance where the universe is your partner, guiding your steps. A question for you. Now I ask you, have you ever experienced such a moment? A moment when you felt that an event or encounter was not just a coincidence? Has something like this ever happened in your life? If you've had such experiences, you can share them in the comments, because maybe your story will inspire others to notice the signs in their own lives. And if you've never paid attention before, maybe this is your invitation. Start observing. Start asking. Once you begin to notice, you'll see just how often synchronicity appears. Remember, no encounter and no event comes into your life for nothing. Behind everything lies the hidden cooperation between your unconscious and the universe. And synchronicity always tells you this: you are on the right path. Keep going. If this video was helpful for you, liking and subscribing shows that we are on this journey together. And finally, remember, the light of hope is in your hands, my friend.